Hi, in this video we're looking at sexual ethics in Islam. So one of the first ethical issues we're looking at here in terms of sex is premarital and extramarital sex. Now, all sexual acts are divided into halal and haram. So halal being that which is good and permissible, haram being that which is bad and forbidden. And this is the ethics are then determined first by the Quran, then by the Hadith, and then by Sharia law. And fornication includes any any illegal sex act such as premarital sex and adultery or extramarital sex. Um, so premarital sex falls into the category of fornication. It is an illegal sex act because it is done outside of the sacred bonds of marriage. Now, under Islamic law, premarital and extramarital sex, they both remain a grave sin condemned in the Quran. And punishments can include up to 100 lashes for premarital sex, as seen in Surah 24:2, or stoning for adultery, which is seen in Surah 17:32. Both premarital and extramarital sex are considered violations of the marriage contract, and strict Islamic law prescribes severe punishments for these acts. In some Muslim societies, measures have actually been put in place to prevent men and women from coming into contact with each other outside of the home. And there is an expectation for women outside of the home to either be covered up or be chaperoned by someone. Now, in some Muslim countries, being alone with a stranger of the opposite sex is considered as bad as having sex with them, even if there was no sex taking place. However, there is no specific mention in the Quran about veils or being covered. It's just a convention that's been put in place. That's been followed for many years. However, there is no a textual basis for this. Now, the reason why it's so unethical is because marriage is not only a confirmation of the male and female togetherness, but also togetherness in the wider Islamic community. So, to break the sacred marriage bond is actually an attack on the Islamic community itself. Um, and all Islamic countries interpret the ethical issues of premarital and extramarital sex in different ways. So, for example, Saudi Arabia is very literal about how it interprets ethical issues, whereas Turkey is a bit more liberal and also incorporates elements of Western law as well. In terms of homosexuality in Islam and the way it's viewed, um, this is seen as deviant behavior. Now, the reason for that is because heterosexual marriage and the birth of children are central to the progress of Islamic life. So, therefore, any deviation from that is not positive and seen as deviant behavior. Um, Now, mention is made in the Quran to the city of Sodom, which is also mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, the Christian Bible as well. And God essentially punishes the people of Sodom for their deviant behavior, which is where we get the root word for sodomy. However, the Quran doesn't really mention punishments for homosexual acts, but some Islamic countries employ their own system. So some countries are a bit more liberal in their prosecution of homosexual behavior, which could be as simple as fines or imprisonment, whereas some Islamic countries employ execution as a form of punishment for homosexual behavior. So I really hope this very brief video has given you enough information to gather an understanding of sexual ethics in Islam. Thank you.